seen pancreatic insufficiency really at all until the last 5 years, where now it seems like I'm getting a new client every couple months who's like an adult onset type 1 case. Paul, you're kind of one of them, or I don't know what has changed, but I'm for 20 years I never had an adult onset. I never had pancreatic insufficiency, and I've had and even 2 years ago, I think I only had 2 or 3. I've had like 2 or 3 more this past year.
Yeah, I've run into quite a few of them. I'll have people. It's funny because doctors will put people on metformin thinking it's insulin resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you're active, you're doing cardio, you're eating a clean diet, your odds of having insulin resistance are pretty low. And like it's amazing to me that they don't do a fasting insulin test, and then you go get a fasting insulin test. Mine was 0 on this past test.
That's crazy. Well, I can understand because I would have done the same. I just never saw it. You never saw it. And so if I saw elevated A1C, that it was insulin resistance. It was like, I don't know if it's not like I have a large enough sample size to weed out any variation like that. So it's possible that I just got lucky in not seeing it for 20 years, but it's unlikely. It's just very weird.
It does seem more prevalent. It could be the C word that did it, or the C something related to the C word. I got to be careful what I say, but I don't know. I had problems before then, though. Mine existed before then. I think it runs in my family. I think for me, it may have been Lyme's disease that did me in.
I think it was key Lyme's disease.
That's my kind of disease.
Well, I've been like in the past. I've been able to get away with. I just had my blood work and a physical done this past week. Everything was great except for my A1C, which was a 10.6, which is crazy. That's
awesome.
That's awesome.
That is evidence that I haven't been following a bodybuilding diet as of late.
Wild.
But I had talked myself into when I was on prep, I was only running Atlantis on my high days, and I was fine. My A1C was fine, and so and that's kind of what I've done in the past, and I thought I would be okay. And then I wasn't. I was just been feeling tired and lethargic and stuff lately. I thought maybe I had something going on, and that's why I was feeling tired.
You Kool-Aid for blood.
Yeah. My blood is like Coke. It's a full sugar Coke.
Straight Coke.
Yeah, but my fasting insulin was like almost non-existent. So like I don't even think I'm making insulin at all anymore.
Well, that's what I tell guys. Like, you got to get that insulin checked too, because it's like, like your A1C could also be like normal, but your insulin is like through the roof. Your body's just pumping it out like crazy. So it's just.
Thanks, Gonzalo Boring. He's one of my old clients.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for the support.
Chase loves that diabetes.
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to get it.
I just found out Wilford Brimley, the diabetes guy. If you guys remember Cocoon, the movie from the 80s, he's my age in that movie.
Yeah, I know. I've seen
That's
that meme.
Wild.
Yeah.
You know what that means, Justin?
Oh, I don't want to know what it means because he was an old man. They grew him different back then.
I think he may have put a few more rougher miles on his rig than you have, Justin. I don't know. Maybe it's just a consideration.
His rig.
So who do you guys think is going to win the Arnold? Justin's probably saying Brandon, but
man, I think it's gonna be a good show. It seems like I've been excited for the big shows more in the last couple of years than I was for a while. It seemed like they got pretty stagnant for
it's been fun lately.
Yeah.
I mean, Samson looks ridiculous.
That's the other thing I like is the top guy doing the Arnold and the Olympia. That's hard, but it makes the sport so much more enjoyable. Because it got to a point where if you were top 5 at the Olympia, you almost didn't do anything else. I hated that.
Yeah.
I'll give you my top 5 real quick.
Yeah,
I got Samson, and then Andrew, Derek, Curry, Hakeem for my top 5. Yeah, I think Akeem looks amazing right now.
I feel bad for Akeem because he does look amazing, but his skin's so thick and it's so dark. It's hard, man, because you see some photos of him, and when the lighting's right and you can really see the definite, like that recent one with his bicep. It's like that dude, he got screwed with the skin thickness because he gets shredded, but it's hard to see.
Well, he keeps getting good definition.
Yeah,
Steve, it seems weird not seeing your lights on in the background.
Oh yeah, I'm just in the next to my computer. I was watching the show, and I was like, "Why am I not joining in?" When I got the link, so instead of watching, I'm trying to participate a little bit. But please continue the story. Don't let me interject.
Yeah, I had
talking about the Arnold Classic.
I just had Akeem pretty high just because I keep seeing more. Like you're right, he's got thick skin, but I keep seeing more detail and more crisp lines and more insertions, and nothing looks rig. Nothing looks funny on him. Everything looks.
Have you seen Carlos Thomas lately?
Oh my Lord, yeah, that looks. He's one like I zoom in to, like, is this chopped? This can't be real.
He's another guy like that. When you meet him in person, like his arms are so fucking.
Yeah, he follows our channels, so maybe it helps.
They're as big as his head. I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah, he recognized me at the Olympia and he said, "Hey," and I'm like, "Holy shit, that dude is huge."
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
Bye.
Every time I see him, he says that.
I mean, he was there. I think was his dad with him. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
His dad is super cool too. I talked with his dad for about 15 minutes. He said, "Yeah, my son is a bodybuilder too." If you heard that story a million times, of course. And then I met his son. I'm like, Carlos was like, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" And his dad was like, "You know this guy?" I said, "Yeah, he's on YouTube." Pretty funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah, this
small community, man. That's why I like it so much, because everybody knows everybody, right? And then especially if you show your face online all the time, then you're just part of the scene eventually.
Here, I'll pull this picture up of him.
There's only so many people to watch.
Worth watching.
Well, yeah, and it's a sport where it's such a part of your life that you can be really into golf. What do? Watch one tournament a year? I mean, if you're really into bodybuilding, you're watching stuff all day, every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We just got so many things that are monotonous to do. Like you're eating your food, you're going to watch something. You're doing your cardio, you're going to watch
food prep. Yeah.
His legs are just ridiculous.
Oh man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I zoom in, it's like, okay, a black background. It's possible you could shop it, but yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's what he really looks like. It's
like you want that, like that thigh gap. He's got a knee gap, barely.
Barely. I don't think you can even touch his knees together. This is too much mass.
I'm always telling my guys, like, I get the young guys that I work with, they try to spread their legs out like that, then they have the giant thigh gap.
Oh man, that's or when they turn their feet straight sideways. It's like your quad sweeps on the side. If you turn your knees out to the side, you just look like a goofball.
Then remember that, but Roddy would pose in the early 90s or late 90s. He would put his knees together, and he would still have a sweep like this.
He's just like feet straight forward, straight legs.
He's the only guy who could be a bad poser and still look better than everyone else.
Terrible. Ronnie Coleman's posing was terrible.
Oh, his side chest. He contracts his hamstrings. I just want one photo where that guy actually let his hamstrings hang. I can only imagine how insane he would look. You contract if I contract my hamstrings, they invert.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Here. Let's see if I find a picture of him. This is one of Ronnie when he would how he would stand, like it's just like the worst possible position. Like that's like everything you do wrong.
Locked out knees. It's just like flex those quads, flex them. Where everybody else is like knees bent and trying to pop up as much as they can. He's just like fucking flexing his ass off.
There's another one.
Look at that.
2003. I remember at 2000. I was at the 2003. That's not 99. That's 2003. I was at 2003. He walked on stage, and his quad came out, and then like 4 or 5 seconds later, the rest of him came out. I've never seen anything like that.
He was insane.
Wow.
But it's bad. That's that we're still reminiscing about Ronnie since nothing that size and freakiness hasn't come around. Like Rami came close, and Samson needs double the back to come close.
Samson's brought his back up recently. It's looking better.
Yeah,
he's just got his frame is so huge. If he could, I mean, and he's still growing. If he gets it fully filled out, he's the only one I think that could be more impressive than Ronnie. Andrew Jack, like walking around is pretty close. If you just see him standing, he's unbelievable. But something doesn't quite pop for me when he poses. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not like he's bad at all. It's just it's not quite to Paul Dillette level. But if you see him standing around, he's just unbelievable.
He's huge. He's huge. Yeah. In front to back, he's just a different bodybuilder. From the front, he's absolutely amazing. And then he turns around, and it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
You would expect more from the back with a guy like that. Yeah. But it's, it's less.
For guys that say
we've been spoiled with Ronnie, man, for 8 years. We're all trying to compare everybody to Ronnie.
This guy's struggling with 315 on rows.
Terrible.
What? Terrible for him.
Oh, he can do what he wants, man. He's Mr. Olympia now.
Well, that's just it. It's like there's like half the time when I'm working out, I start off and try to be like as controlled as I can be, and then I'm like, yeah, fuck this, and then it kind of turns into that. Like, hey, whatever. I'm gonna have some fun.
He doesn't look that heavy. He doesn't look anything crazy heavy. I don't know. These look.
So you meet him in real life, and he's twice as wide as all your friends combined.
Yeah.
He's gigantic.
Yeah, he's big.
What does he got?
Yeah, he's. I remember he was walking around the Detroit Pro last year in an oversized black shirt.
That's pretty
big. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
that's pretty heavy.
He's moving up pretty.
Those are 200-pound dumbbells, right?
Well, they were 80 kilos.
They look small.
Yeah, they look like 80.
It's nice to see that even Mr. Olympia has his movements that he's stronger on, and his movements that he's weaker on.
Yeah.
So that means there's hope for us.
There's hope for all of us. He's just like me.
Yeah.
The recent picture of his back. Nope. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from the Olympia to the Arnold.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely
his arms are getting big.
Or not even that, 6 months.
He's coming into his own a lot, and keep in mind he's a late bloomer, so he started late.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his pictures when he was a soccer player, it's like 8 years ago or something, or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you go from soccer player to Mr. Olympia. Ronnie was chipping at the heels for years before he put it together. So imagine
Ronnie turned pro 91. He was a pro for 7 years before he won it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
go.
And
he didn't turn pro young.
Yeah. Look at this.
8 years. Wow.
That's
all injectable aminos. That's all injectable aminos.
Yeah. Carnitine.
Yeah. Link in my bio. Chase.
Yeah. Where can you even get this?
Well, you're so right about him hitting his stride, because his consistency of improvement from show to show is just
every show. Yeah,
he's still growing.
Yeah.
He's probably the closest thing to Ronnie right now, I would say.
Yeah.
And his waist never budges. He stays lean enough where he can be productive and grow, and doesn't have to blow out his gut.
His joints too. Look at his knees in that picture Paul just had up. He's got the tiniest knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're right. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Not good for powerlifting, but great for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the classic physique division? Mike Summerfield and Wesley?
I mean, Wesley looks great. The pictures I saw him recently.
Wesley always looks great. Like he's so lean all the time, and I don't know how good of a thing that might be. Like he's always
he needs a proper off season.
Yeah,
to grow his legs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
long term. It just
peeled all the time.
Yeah, I think long term, it's not gonna be the most effective approach. It's hard on the body. It's hard. You have to be so precise to make progress. Like the big thing right now is everyone pushing the. You don't need a surplus to add new muscle, which is true, but you need to eat more calories than you burn to gain body weight. And so if you don't have any body fat. And so the only new muscle is going to have to come from, you can't lose those calories from body fat anymore. You just have to be so precise. I think it just gets harder and harder the further along you get.
I mean,
if you're trying to stay that lean.
The margin.
He had one like part after the Olympia, like a couple. I feel like it was a couple weeks where it looked like he had put on like a little bit of water weight, but then it was just like like he always looks like. I watch him daily. You know, I see every day he's got this picture where he's ending the day and he's in his bathroom and he's like doing a bicep pose, filming the mirror behind him. Everything's just fucking peeled, and it's like,
at the end of the day, well, it's not the body fat so much as the water too. You can stay pretty lean. It's hard to be dry, and I don't want to say anything, because I don't know anything he's doing at all. But it's hard to stay dry, big, and healthy forever.
No, he's got the healthy part covered. I talked with him private, and he seems to know what he's doing.
I've heard the same thing. I've heard that. I've never talked to him.
He was pretty open about it when I interviewed him. He talked about his protocols and stuff. He seems like
pretty modest.
Pretty modest, yeah.
And again, he's a student of the sport, so he follows all the guys that educate regarding safety. Yeah. And I talked with him. He talked with Dr. Dean, a couple other people, and of course, he's got a great coach. So I'm sure he tries to stay as healthy as possible.
Yeah,
I think he just needs like a proper off season to really grow his legs. And again, he had a little bit of nerve impingement in his calves, so those are hard to grow. Yeah. He had lower back problems. So, he bought an entire new gym to grow his legs, but of course, a year off season would do him really well.
Yeah. And I really hope he wins, but yeah, I'm curious about, how lean he stays, and I'm just not sure about that.
Sommerfeld is looking freaky, man.
Jeez. Yeah, he doesn't even look like a classic guy. He looks like a bodybuilder to me.
Yeah, looks like a fucking bodybuilder.
Well, Wesley looks like his kryptonite is if he's, even relatively flat, he just loses his legs. They still look great, but they're just underwhelming.
Yeah, you can see in that before photo also. You can see the structure, kind of a wider waist and flatter quads. It's really, if you look at that, what he's done, been able to do is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, his physique is crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like if Wesley can bring this fullness, if Wesley can bring this level of fullness, he'd be a real good contender. But yeah, Mike.
Something that's really interesting.
Mention that Mike has though is just so awesome.
It's a Band-Aid.
Something interesting about Mike is that he is, from what I've heard from my massage therapist who works on Mike, because Mike has been in Chicago for a little bit. I don't know if he's still here, but he was working out at America's Gym, which is about an hour away from me. He is basically like a nomad. He doesn't have a home base. Yeah. He's always traveling. He's always on the road, lives out of a suitcase. Like I would just like, wow, that blows my mind. Like,
yeah,
he wanted to come to Thailand for the Mr. Olympia, for the Arnold prep. He wanted to come here for the Arnold prep, and I told him, don't do it. It's too much distraction. You need to be somewhere where there's too much stuff going on here, and I can hook him up with everything he needs. But I think Thailand is not a suitable place to do a contest prep. Whether you live in Bangkok or Pattaya, it's just too noisy, too crowded, too much pollution.
Go to Kuwait.
What do you think? Yeah, Kuwait would be better. You can live like a hermit. Why do you think Aaron moved? After a while, I was just done with it. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to a bodybuilding country.
I don't know if Vegas is much better. There's a lot of distractions there.
Yeah, you can avoid it though. Vegas is almost hard. If you live there, like if you live in Henderson, it's kind of work to get it down to the Strip. You have to go finding it.
Yeah, like the gym he goes to here is like way out. It's not in like Chicago City. Like it's a drive for me to go out of the city, so it's probably pretty cheap to live or be and like rent something out there.
Right. Dude is living the dream, man. That's just being a nomad.
Yeah,
the travel blows my mind. I'll be at the Arnold for like 4 or 5 days. It'll take me a month to get back to where I was before I left. I don't know how.
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, "Are you serious? That's really impressive to me to just like always be on the road. Like that's crazy. I don't know if that's still it. Like I was told that because he's been here for a while, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure it was like a year ago that I was told that. So.
No, he said that on a podcast recently, Chase. He said
did
that
he?
like
Oh.
him and his girlfriend, like they don't have a house. Like they
Yep.
literally just like Airbnb it, like travel wherever. Like, and that was
Wow.
recent, like within the last couple of weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Like they just decided they didn't need a home base. It was interesting. Like he talked a lot about like how they met and like when she started competing, but like they just kind of decided like, yeah, like we don't need to have
That's
some place.
awesome.
And they just
I just can't
That's
imagine having no things and you got your suitcase and what you got on you
Yeah.
and whatever you buy.
I did it for a year also. It's
did?
great. Yeah, I traveled through Asia
sounds
for
great.
a year.
Yeah.
I didn't look like Mike. I looked like skinny fat dad bod, you know. I gave up bodybuilding completely because I was like traveling, so I wanted to see stuff. Like Mike is just living somewhere, and then when he's bored with that place, he goes somewhere else. And as long as there's a Walmart and a gym, I think he's happy. You know.
And there's
So,
always
but he's
a
doing
Walmart.
great, man. I mean, if all things considering, he looks absolutely phenomenal. And the progress that he's making, show to show, is insane. You know, Neil is really working his magic on him.
It's like part of me thinks like that would be super stressful, like always being on the road. But the other part of me is like, maybe it would not. Like it would be the opposite.
No, it isn't.
Because you got like nothing to worry about, like in that regard.
We
like
get
your things, you know.
when you get
bills
bored
or
of a
whatever.
place, you just move on. It's like you
Mhm.
get bored of the people, you
Interesting.
get bored of the gym, you just go somewhere else, you start fresh.
Yeah,
And you know, it's hard to
Could
get
be-
close to people, obviously, but
could be something to that, you know. I mean, because like
you have to do
Samson
that
apparently
before
travels
kids,
all the time.
Chase. Before kids.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Well,
take that.
I'm almost on the tail end of my kids are going to be adults here soon. I think that's kind of the way I want to live my retirement life.
Yeah, we've talked about the same thing. Either buying something in like Mexico or you just live in different places for a while. But
Just move around.
Yeah.
See where you like it. Like buying right now with the housing market everywhere worldwide, it's just not a good idea. I would wait a couple of years.
well,
but if you wanna travel-
I got a 9-year-old at home, so it's
yeah.
yeah.
Steve, how much longer you guys got?
I'll be here forever, man, in Thailand.
No. When your kid's born,
Middle of the year, so a couple more months.
a couple more months.
oh,
Yeah, a
that's so
couple more
exciting,
months.
Steve. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
exciting.
can't wait. Yeah, we did the 4D imaging, so we can finally see the face.
Oh,
And,
4D
that's
is that
crazy.
does it include smell or what's the 4D?
Yeah, I think it was my
Oh,
wife.
you smell it.
It
You
was
smell it
a
when you
positive.
say it.
Sound or, I don't know.
What's
Yeah,
that
they use
smell?
but you know what's funny? Like the ultrasounds for the babies is way more detailed than the ultrasounds you would do in your heart. So they can actually
Right.
zoom in to the heart of the baby and
Yeah.
do that little graph, the blue red regarding for the blood flow, and it's way better visualized than all of the ultrasounds that I've done on my heart. So
Yeah.
I tried to bribe the sonographers. Listen, can you use this machine on my heart so I can get the imaging? It's like an adult heart works a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So I want the imaging you have to
Yeah.
see. So yeah, everything is good. It's you know, all this imaging, and then you know, we just do it every time we're there because you get more baby pictures. And my daughter has a tendency to put her arms in front of her face. So we sit there for
Shy.
20 minutes just waiting. Yeah, shy. Yeah. 20 minutes just waiting till the arm moves and you get like one or two good pictures.
The ultrasound
Yeah,
thing.
it's Muay Thai.
Yeah, she's just getting her,
my wife the whole time.
her
Also.
guard up already, man. You got some onesies ready for her in with like the Timothy Leary pattern. Ready to go. Like Kool-Aid.
Be arranged. Yeah, it'll be arranged.
You guys gonna be twinning right out the
Yeah. No. We got one at a time. One at a time. Yeah. So I can't wait. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Having
awesome, man.
kids is exciting.
I wonder if I'm going to feel the same as Chase did, because Chase, you said that you had like some difficulty bonding with your daughter in the beginning.
Well, it's weird. It's weird because it's like you get like no feedback really. Like there's the communication is very low. It's like they cry. Like sometimes they'll look at you and they'll you'll get like a smile, but it's not like a real smile or whatever. So you're just kind of like. I don't know. It's. I feel like for a guy versus the woman, it's very different. Like,
well, the first 9 months, you're not neat. You don't do. For my experience with all four was basically the first 9 months. It's not like it's difficult to bond. You love them and you're amazed by it, but you don't have milk. And that's all they do. But then what was really really cool is all four of them went through a phase where probably around age 2, maybe a little younger. It's like it switches and they can start to play. And I don't know if you've seen studies on this, but but babies and mothers get the highest oxytocin release, both of them combined, when they're with each other during cuddling and things like that. And so like that's what both of them are, all their hormones and stuff are driven towards, where the father gets the most oxytocin release when they're playing with the kid, but the kid also gets the same with the father. And it's like it's a weird thing. And so, you know, and once they're able to start doing things and playing, and I think because you always hear moms complaining about this, like, oh, you know, when she falls and hurts herself, she cries to me. When she wants to play, she goes right to dad. I'm fun too. Why doesn't? But it is like a hormonal thing. It's that both parties, and once they hit that stage, then it's like bam, and then from like 18 months to like age 12, it's just like it's amazing.
What you said, like what you just said, like because my daughter, she's like 13 months right now, and she's playing, and she comes to me now, and like we do have a really good bond, and it's like it's really cool. That I feel like a lot of the time she prefers to come to me instead of like my wife. Like if she's like crying, like usually she'll go to her. But it's really
weird because they'll do if they play with them. If they play with the mom and do the exact same activity that they're playing with the dad, as much controlled as you can to do the same output, they get a lower oxytocin release. It's it's a really interesting thing that, and the mom gets a lower one also, and then the dad gets a bigger one. Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's funny because I noticed
here, so maybe I can artificially create some bonding.
It's funny because she like always to me for like approval. If like, is this good? Is this funny or whatever? Like whatever she's doing, it's I don't know. There's all like now there's like a lot of eye contact and a lot of laughing between the two of us. So it's interesting how it's like switched between.
I literally remember doing that growing up, like watching TV with my family and like sort of like seeing it like a comedic situation, hearing a joke and like looking over to my dad.
Look at my dad. Yeah. Is this funny? Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. It is. Watching the most inappropriate movies.
When I was on my second grade birthday, what are you, like 8 or something? We found we had HBO or something, and there was like a low-level porn on called Big Bad Mama 2, and I had my friend over for a birthday party, and it's like 1 a.m, and we're just blown away because we're seeing stuff we've never seen before. My dad must have got up to pee, and he came out. We were all in a panic. We were going to get in trouble, but he came in and like I think he gave us a thumbs up or something, and like everyone was like, ah.
He's like, come through the doors, like, yeah. Can I join in? Can I have a watch?
Nice. Good work.
Steve, you can just tape a bottle to your gyno bra and just put it right up there, and then you can go ahead and it'll just relate to you better.
That's the plan. The gyno bra is very tight, so I'll probably get one of those hammocks that you wrap around. I'll sit here with a bottle and an oxytocin nasal spray to instill some bonding on both ends. Yeah. And my boobies will be big enough to simulate breastfeeding.
My daughter latched on to me from day one. My daughter was latched on to me from day one, so it was a different experience for me. Although we bottle fed, so maybe
kids are great. Daughters are great because my daughter had trouble with her car. All 3 of the older ones were out shopping yesterday. My one's home from college. And they call Big Bad Mama. Hey, you remember Adam? That's my cousin. We were in second grade, and our buddy Brian Murray had hair on his balls in second grade. And we were blown because a guy came on screen and we're like, "Oh my God, he's got hair on his balls!" And Brian's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I got that." We're like, "You're 8." What?
He was already shaving.
I remember going over to my friend's house when I was in middle school, and we would alternate between kung fu movies with Bruce Lee and pornos.
Covering all the bases. It's all young child needs.
What it is. I can't even imagine how wild it is for kids now with like just everyone's got a phone in their hands. Like back when I was a kid, like I had like a friend who had a tree house who had like a a waterlogged Playboy, you know.
Yeah.
We're like, oh,
Waterlogged Playboy.
Oh,
my
just
God,
stuck
that
together.
brings back memories.
trying to put the pieces together, you know.
It's like, did everybody have one of those? So you found it in the ditch. You're like,
they just they appear as needed, you know.
So funny.
The waterlogged Playboy. I remember that.
The pages just it's all smeared and whatever, but you got some good pages in it.
The pages be all curved to be like this.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, hilarious. I've never heard anybody say that.
Nature provides.
Wow, that's funny. Nature provides. Like seriously, like when I was like in like 13, 14 years old, my dad used to have me like go for runs in the morning, and there was a run where I like went out there and I saw a magazine in the ditch, and I was like, what the hell? And I like picked it up, and it's a waterlogged Playboy. It was like, I'm gonna hide this so I know where it is out here. And I would run out there and look at everyone and run home.
There's like a little ribbon tied to the tree, like when hunters use to mark their look.
So funny.
Oh,
I've told you guys my hustler story, right? With my dad.
I think you have.
I went away for I went away for the summer one time, and I came home from it was a marching band type thing. I'm a nerd, yes, but I came home and there was a stack of hustlers on my bed in my bedroom. And my mom just looked at me and goes, I'm very disappointed in you. And my dad's like standing behind her. It's like, yeah, I'm disappointed too. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I don't know what these are. Where did these come from? It was my damn dad. He was hiding them up in my closet. He'd hidden them up at the top of my closet. And I took one for him.
So did he pay you $100 to kind of sweeten the deal?
I kept his magazines. Is what I did.
Yeah, fair enough.
They are mine.
You got paid.
They're mine now.
These are mine. Yes. Keeping them.
Yeah, I'm so happy I found out how Hyperterminal worked, and so you could download all those pictures from the internet. I was 13 years old, so I had nothing to stash besides some hidden folder on my computer.
Yeah.
There's nothing to find besides a password-protected zip file.
Yeah.
It was like 14 years old.
Yeah, or like when you were like you would be downloading stuff from LimeWire, and you just be like,
God,
you just be reading the titles, and you'd be like, this one might be good, and then you click on it, and it pops up. And it's like,
that and trying to get video games to work, but mainly that because that taught you how to fix a problem on a deadline. When you downloaded something onto your family computer from LimeWire, and you immediately knew that you fucked up, nothing worked, and then like you started hearing your mom got home, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, you're going in the command line.
Real quick, I credit my career in IT to downloading LimeWire. Misguided use.
Colin, is that how your fledgling career in IT started?
That's how mine started. 100%.
What's your experience? Well, I
think I did mention that in the interview to Paul.
Yeah. I know how to hide porn on the network where nobody can find it.
You ever brick your computer at 2 a.m. when your mom's about to get up in 2.5 hours?
What are you doing here?
I have been doing a little bit of work on the side for people, like cleaning up their computers. I remember telling Paul in the original interview, so like he was asking what experience I had, and I said I did that. I've been cleaning up people's pornados off their computer, and he liked that. It was a one thing from the interview. He chuckled at, and then he still didn't want to hire me after the interview.
I thought you were.
Oh, really?
Man.
You did.
I thought you were a slacker and a bum.
Well, you were right, but I'm good at the job.
Experience.
I got talked into hiring him. I'm like, man, I'm not hiring this guy.
Yeah. My benefactor's like, give the kid a chance. and now that's my buddy.
That's so funny.
Well, I doubt it. That will forever be in my shame closet.
You're absolutely right to judge me based on how I looked. But
I remember the business is gone and Colin is still here, so something must have worked out.
I remember when I would do interviews, I would go look at people's social media pages, and Colin had like this stupid picture of him in like I don't know what kind of hat that was you were wearing. It was like a beaver skin hat or something. and you look stone out of your gourd, and I'm like,
yeah.
I am not hiring this guy.
I feel like beard hats and weed
What
is
is
a
that?
requirement
What is
for
that
IT.
movie?
Well, yeah.
Or there's like Uncle Buck or something, where he's like, "This hat angers people," with the big ear flaps.
Yeah, it was like one of those kind of hats he had on.
Yeah, I would argue that to this day I don't have the most professional social media presence.
That's the best part about having a business.
I mean, it's
not having to
arguable.
worry
but
about that at all.
That being said, you know, if you do want to follow me on social media, you can find me at Chewbacca Uncircumcised, and that's your
Best
name.
memes being delivered every day.
Yeah.
All right, we want to grab a couple questions. I got to wrap this up by 12:30. I got a call.
12:30.
Let's see what we got.
1:30
or 1:30.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Would you move Central Time?
Central Time, yes. Poll time.
Traveling back in time. Ryan wants to know. Well, first he says we're great. Thank you, Ryan. Eagles or Chiefs? He means the
I'm still
referees.
salty
Chiefs.
about the Commanders losing. To
Well,
the
did you
Eagles,
see
so-
they interviewed the referees about that, and they asked them about the Chiefs getting calls, and the refs were like, "Look, we called every game fair, whether it's the Lions, the Eagles, or the incredibly handsome, very friendly, legendary Chiefs."
Unassailable.
I can't root for the Eagles as a Commanders fan. I hate their fan base. They're the worst.
Oh, they are. Oh my god.
The only time Eagles fans are worse than when they lose is when they win.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go on a tangent and then destroy the city nonetheless.
Yeah.
I want to see it though, just because I like chaos. So
Sometimes in the UK, man, it doesn't
Eagles
matter if
tie.
they win or lose those teams. It's chaos nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's guaranteed: whether the Eagles win or lose, the fans will burn the
they're
city
gonna
down.
burn the city down.
Yeah, no counter faith.
I'm still sour about the Eagles stealing one from my Patriots, so I'm rooting for the Chiefs, unfortunately. Yeah.
Let's see here.
What did
I
Josh
hope
say?
it's a
You
good
could root for
game.
the Eagles.
Yeah, me too.
Helps you argue about how terrible McNabb is. Yeah, yeah. I remember that whole McNabb trade. I don't know. I'm indifferent on the Super Bowl. But I don't want to see the
This
Eagles
is the
win.
Super
Yeah,
Bowl that
same.
nobody wanted to see again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
You have to
I'm
call
curious
it
what the
a big
ratings will
game.
be. I hope I almost hope the ratings are bad. I would just want someone other than the Chiefs in. I mean, like I hate to be that guy, but it's like in any sport when someone wins over and over, you just want something different.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe the Commanders this year. Like I had to pinch myself. I'm like, is this really happening?
That was pretty cool.
Well,
It
the
was like
Lions,
the same for the Lions, yeah.
yeah,
It's like,
and then
what-
they
what
shit
the
the bed like you always. I mean, I'm not.
Oh,
even saying that was it was. We haven't had a year like that since 1954. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it was
love
funny, though,
watching
like
the
my-
Lions. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is from Detroit, so I was like, I'll watch whatever. But I was surprised when she put the game on. I was like, they're still playing? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and they were like a skeleton crew by the last game.
Yeah.
They had so many injuries too. That's what's remarkable.
Yeah.
The Commanders got stomped,
Yeah.
as is hard tradition. Yes, they did. But I was just shocked they even made the postseason. Man, that was a win for me.
Well, they made it, and they went as far as they possibly could, and they
Yeah.
played so well.
Yeah.
Like they really did. That last game was just, I think it was all they had left.
Yeah, no, the Eagles are just a better team.
Yeah.
As much as it pains me to say it.
Well, they're a more mature team. I mean, just is what it is.
We have like one player, and that's Jaden Daniels. That's about it.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin. That's it. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. That's our whole
Jaden
team.
Daniels, though, man, that's hell of a season.
Potential franchise player right there. Knock
Yeah,
on wood.
I don't think there's potential. I think he is.
Just stay healthy, Jaden.
Just stay healthy.
Stay away from.
I told the other week I saw him at the car wash here locally, and I couldn't believe he was at the car wash. I couldn't believe how skinny he is when I saw him in person. He's just tall and super thin. Like I think they have him listed at 205. That must be with his pads and cleats and everything on. There's no way that
Helmet.
dude's 205.
Good meal.
Right? End of the night.
He was definitely taller than me, and I'm tall. So
at least they don't let them get lit up as much as they used to. So
no, true. All right, what do we got? Next question.
Let's see here. We got a couple leg questions. First one from Adam: 1 all-out leg day versus 2 ham/quad focus days a week.
I split mine up. I do a quad focus day, and then I do a ham, glute, and adductor focus day.
No,
I think it's too much to knock out in one day. That's my opinion, but
it is a lot when you really think about what you're doing for like arms or chest or shoulders, and then to consider legs one body part is pretty wild.
I mean, how many muscles? I mean, it's the biggest muscle. Some of the biggest muscles
to have your body. I mean, you know, and then the movements are. I mean, every like stuff like deadlift, squats, like every most taxing movement.
I was going to say
recovery and cardio are all leg movements.
Yeah, I find leg days so taxing. I like to break them up into 2 days.
I mean, if I'm doing a heavy set of hack squats and then follow it up with leg press, the last fucking thing I want to do is stiff-legged deadlifts and hamstrings,
adductors and quad or calves.
Adductors. So I split it up. I mean, maybe when I was younger, but I feel like I brought my legs up last year, and they are continuing to come up, and definitely adductors. Like I think people neglect adductors. I think that's it's almost a third of your total leg size, or sometimes more.
It really creates that inner sweep. If you do them,
Tom Platz. If you look at Tom Platz's quad sweep, it was great, but not like otherworldly. But his adductors were otherworldly.
There's 2 things that Paul focused on was the adductor and then like the donkey kick for his glutes.
Yeah, I got old man ass, so I definitely had to work on bringing my glutes up.
So Ozempic ass, that's what that is.
Yeah, I mean here's
osteoporosis from Ozempic.
Look at the
right. Yeah, I mean flops in front of the other leg.
Jeez, look at that.
Yeah. You're right. Cool. One on top of the other. You're right.
Yeah, I mean that was insane. Yeah. All right, what do you got up next?
We got DLC included tips for building outer quads.
Sinto.
Yeah, genetics.
Build big quads.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There isn't a one-stop shop. You know, people's bodies are different. So what seems to target that area of the quads more than other area of the quads for me is, you know, might not be the same movement as you, and it probably isn't. You really just have to. I hate that, like, because everyone's going to say, not everyone here, but like the traditional response would be, you know, hack squat or something with your feet close together. But that's the standard response. And if you have weak outer quads, you're probably already doing the standard movements to focus on outer quads, and it's not working. So you might have to play around and find something that for whatever reason does work for you.
Yeah.
A lot of guys also got a very tight IT band, so you just got to massage the shit out of it. And eat a lot. Like nobody ever complained about, you know, not being able to grow their legs in a steep caloric surplus. You know, it's frowned upon nowadays, but all the guys that I knew that really developed their legs, they just ate until they got fat. And then by the time they were fat, they dieted it off and the leg stayed. You know, thank God for performance enhancing drugs. So
I found I needed to the outer quads were something I had to actually work mostly on my tempo. I found out the hard way that I was loading up too much weight, on my leg days, trying to just target a specific part of my leg when what I really need to do is back off the weight, slow my tempo down, and find a way to actually load and target the target muscle itself. Yeah. You know, because we all kind of get hyped up. Leg day, you load up the bar, you do whatever you want to do, and half the time you're missing half of your movement. Half of that range of motion is loading the weight back down onto you so you can press it off. So, I mean, I found it was a little bit more effective for my lower back. All these other things come into play. It's more recoverable. So sometimes not always picking the right movement, but are you doing it efficiently?
Well, that's and that if you the strongest muscle is going to take over when the weight's the heaviest, you know, and your glutes are going to be more effective at moving really, really heavy weight than your outer quads are. And so unless you're putting like, you know, mental focus on contracting, it's not like you contract one muscle of the quads, but unless you're putting focus on really activating that area, if you're just moving weight, your body's going to drift to whatever muscle is most effective at moving weight. And your glutes are really strong, or even, or more so, spreading that load around outer quads, inner quads, glutes, adductors, everything is going to let you move more weight. And then the outer quads are going to get a proportionally lower percentage of the weight.
Yeah.
I also don't think guys get deep enough on stuff to fully engage the quads too. I see a lot of dudes like on hack squats and leg presses. They're doing the 40% movement.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a prime example of what you're saying, Justin. I mean, we always joke about I always tend to grow my ass way too much, and that's exactly what I was doing. Is I was going so heavy, I had my glutes doing the load of the work. You know, so when I saw the wrong thing growing, I had to figure out I'm not picking the wrong exercise. That wasn't the problem. You know.
And that's the problem. It's what, the exercise is a tool to work a muscle. It's not a tool to move weight. If you're a power lifter, the exercise is a tool to let you move more weight, and you don't care what muscle's doing it. But if you're a bodybuilder, you care what muscle's doing it. And so it's not the exercise, it's the muscle. You find the exercise that makes it easiest to hit the target muscle, but it doesn't mean it's impossible to hit the wrong muscle.
Yeah.
Well, if they ever start a men's wellness division, Dave's got it covered. His glutes he's got some of the biggest glutes I've ever seen on a human being.
You know, one other quick example though is
a trailer.
Guys trying to grow their back, and all they grow is biceps.
Yeah.
You see the same thing.
That's why lats. Everyone's got weak lats, because it's
not
hard.
me. So talk for yourself.
Yeah, you have to be careful. It's because if you're doing lat pull down, you can throw a lot of weight around without using your lats. If you're only pulling with your lats, you don't get to move very much weight.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got up next here?
Well, we got Steve on. Let's get a question Jason has for Steve. How is the process of buying steroids in Thailand? Do they have a good selection?
They have a very good selection. They have a great selection, but they also have a terrible selection at the same time. So pharmaceuticals are available here, whether those are testosterone. Anavar used to be available, Primobolan used to be available, but now it's just testosterone and Nandrolone that's available as a pharmaceutical. The rest is all underground labs. There's like 1 or 2 good underground labs here that distribute worldwide. The rest is produced in India. I would avoid that because they use synthetic carrier oils that are very toxic. You can check the Thai FDA database, what's FDA approved and not, in your decision-making process of what to buy. I can buy all the ancillaries over the counter for reasonably cheap. And my pharmacy, I have them on standby. So if anything, I ask them to deliver that to my house with a courier. So I don't even need to go there.
What a time to be
Yeah,
alive.
I can order PDs and have them delivered by 8:00 tomorrow.
Uber Peds?
Yeah, it's like Uber Eats. Yeah, but we call it steroid. There's a steroid delivery. Special delivery. So I have a working relationship with one of my pharmacists for 12 years, and I send everybody to them, and they're the best in the business. So it's a good place to buy steroids, man. But there's also it's a huge minefield. Like 90% of the underground labs here, I would avoid at all costs. It's just trash.
I was just going to ask you real quick. What's the HRT clinics like in Thailand? Do they?
I would avoid those also.
Do they have kind of like in the States? They have.
Yeah, so there's a couple of HRT clinics. Some of them they prescribe non-FDA approved medications, like Cialis from India. That's not FDA approved here. Trenbolone produced in India, not FDA approved here, obviously. So there's already there's just money making machines, and they operate as an underground lab. Even though they don't produce their own gear. I work with a compounding pharmacy that imports everything from the US and has everything FDA approved. So most of the peptides that we use in the bodybuilding space are available here, and they actually went through the clinical or the registration process and third-party testing and stuff. So those are available in the anti-aging clinics. But yeah, TRT, just go to the pharmacy, buy your Testoviron there, and self-administer. I wouldn't.
Is it Testoviron? Was that test with Proviron included, or I can't remember?
No, it's just Bayer Testoviron. You have Bayer Provironum. Proviron is available. Yeah, that's available also. Yeah. The Primo was available for a while, but since everybody started talking about Primo, the price shot up. Like me and Paul and then Chase, we all started talking about Primo, and then price went up to $36 per ampule. So in Thailand, they stopped importing it. Luckily, I stocked up before the last.
There's evidently a
away.
shortage of Primo right now, from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what they say. I know for guys like Chase and me, it's I see Chase shaking his head. It's no shortage for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Primo sucks. What are you talking about? Like nobody's. That's garbage. It's garbage. Don't buy that. Primo and Serostim are shit. They're complete shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I wouldn't use it even if it was free.
Generics. That's the way to go.
Generics and growth hormone secretagogues and home brewing. Yeah, and somehow I was able to find Increlex here, boxes upon boxes.
But that sucks.
Can't get it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks too. Well, the price is super high. It can't get any higher than that. Sucks that it, can't get it anywhere else. So yeah, it's a fun place to be. All things considering, it's the best place to live, in my opinion.
Yeah, if I were
Josh says Primo shrinks penile tissue.
Yeah.
Primo gave me an innie. It's just
Primo
like
when I used to
don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Yeah, it's a free post-op.
Amy, there's been a lot of naughty boy talk today.
Amy's used to it now.
I mean, you guys have heard my stories about finding my brother's porn stash, and there's nothing surprising here.
She comes back for more every week.
Amy, wait till you meet Jackie. She's got quite the potty mouth.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris?
Chris Cashman wants to know, when did you decide to coach full time, take the leap and force yourself in a corner to grow coaching, or coach on the side until your business was big enough to quit and do it full time?
When people start throwing you money to do it,
I think years ago I would have said, keep your day job and let it build. But the industry, there's so much money in the industry now that, I did. I made more from coaching for half a decade before I left my job. I just invested 100% of my paycheck during that time. So it really paid off for me. And I had a job where I could coach at my job. I was an engineer. I worked in a computer. The last year and a half, all I did was C++ programming. So I was typing on a computer all day either way. They had no idea whether I was coaching, so if you have that situation, that was great for me. But there's so much money in the industry now. John Heck, a buddy of mine, he does stuff for Troponin supplements. He was a strength and conditioning coach in the NFL, and which, great gig. And so I think he was hesitant to leave to go coaching. And I think he made the jump completely maybe 2 months ago, and he's already killing it. There's never been money like this in the fitness industry.
Yeah,
so if you're going to make the leap, now is the time to do it. But if you have a job where you can do both, if it's not a manual labor job, if you're at a desk, most corporate gigs, I'm not saying this, but if you've been in a job for a while, it takes a long time to fire someone. You got almost a year of doing nothing. you could leverage that if you needed to.
I was burning the candle at both ends for a while, and then I finally just said, screw it. Justin encouraged me. The timing worked out right for me anyway. The company was getting sold, so it was time for me to step away. So that was it was motivation to do so.
Yeah, mine's the cheesy answer. When I realized there was nothing else I wanted to do more than the coaching itself, I enjoyed it. It was work. It paid well. And that's literally when I decided the business I started when I was 17 years old was time to get rid of it and move on. And I'll be selling it at the end of this month. So full transfer over. And I enjoy it too much. It's way too much fun to just pass up an opportunity of a job you love doing every part of it,
And now I'm trying to figure out my exit plan from coaching. I want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Well, we can have that conversation off air. I stopped 3 years ago.
Now.
4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah. Once coaching was basically equal to what I was doing personal training in person, then that's when I was just kind of like, I'm putting so much time into personal training, like having to go and meet with somebody, once those were equal. Work. Yeah, it sucked. So once those were equal, then I was like, okay, I'm leaving personal training and going straight to coaching. And then once YouTube started paying more than coaching, I was like, okay, I'm done with coaching, going straight to YouTube. And now things are.
I will tell you this: everybody that thinks coaching, I get guys that come to me and think it's the panacea of working 3 hours a day, and having your life to you.
Oh god, no!
7 fucking days a week.
It don't matter if it's Christmas; it's someone's peak week.
Exactly.
365. You go on vacation. It don't matter that you're on vacation. People are in prep. You
don't give a shit. It's nonstop, man. I did it for I mean, you've done it for decades also. Like I did it for 12 years. It's just nonstop. And after a while, I have that conversation with my wife. I said, I can't do this anymore, man. I'm always in standby. And you get messages in the middle of the night, and sometimes,
like you said, you go to get an MRI, and someone's peeking. They're texting you. You're like holding the phone until the last second the MRI turns on. I mean, it's just never.
Yeah, I did live streams, and I was peeking people, right? So it's just nonstop. So I'm happy I let it go. Now I actually have time to spend with my family.
Well, I know
it's never ended.
When I was,
but it's too much money to let go, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's hard
when you have over 50 clients. I know some of you guys have 100 or more. It's a lot of cash.
I know when I was speaking and I was texting Justin at 5 a.m. and 11 p.m. and I'm like, "Do you ever sleep, man?"
You don't get to, no. Not from April to November.
No. Then I would go to all these shows, and then with the World Championships or Asian Championships, having like 12 to 17 people in the show, and you don't sleep the whole week.
Yeah,
because you have to dial people in for the weigh-in, and you have to dial them in for the stage. But it's a 3-day show, and then after that, everybody that won wants to take you out to dinner. So first you don't eat for a week, and they eat 7 meals in one day. Covered in dream tan. It's disgusting. Good times though. Great memories. It was a lot of fun, but I don't want to do it anymore.
All right, let's try to squeeze 2 more quick ones in, and then I gotta run.
Let's see here. Got one question that's actually not like bodybuilding related. I don't know if you want to go off topic at all.
If it's fun, then why not?
Sebastian, Paul, and Justin, what stocks are you guys bullish on in 2025
Anything AI?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what AI is going to be, but that's going to be the next decade is AI. I mean, 100%. I don't know. I think AI is just like, you think the internet was a big change. The world's going to be so different in 10 years. I mean, so many jobs are going to be completely, they're programming. You won't code. AI is going to do the code, now. It's already getting there. I mean, I don't even know what I'm sitting back because I don't want to miss it, but I don't know who's going to leap forward. But it's it's good right now. It's like it's probably going to be like it always is. Like you got Alt Vista or Yahoo or and then you don't know that Google's going to come out of nowhere. And so I don't know what AI is going to come out and completely dominate, but AI is going to run the world. Everything is.
You just kind of hedge and put your money on some different ones. Palantir did really well for me last year. And
Palantir, obviously. Oh my God. What are they, like 110 right now?
Yeah, I bought Palantir 2 years ago. Bought in, and it's.
I bought it at 16, but I sold in the 30s.
I think outside of NVIDIA, it was my best performing stock last year.
I was hoping NVIDIA would take more when that deep seed or whatever in China, because I knew that the stuff that they were saying with China with how little energy their AI was using. There's no way that's true. I mean, like they still have to follow physics. They can't say they're using a number of GPUs they're not allowed to have. So of course they're going to say that, oh yeah, it only uses as much power as we're allowed to use, or or whatever.
And allegedly like 50,000 H100 NVIDIA cards.
Yeah.
So, you need an entire dam to facilitate the
when I saw that, I was like, people can't believe that, believe this. And then NVIDIA, I bought a bunch of NVIDIA at 115 recently.
Just FUD the tanks, and then it recovers. You can have a quick swing trade right there.
NVIDIA's been great. And now they're pushing this initiative here in the U.S. where they're going to build all the what did they call that? Trump rolled it out to where they're building all these data centers, just massive amounts of GPUs.
I'm curious what's gonna. I mean the
The
amount
government
of
is.
compute that's
Stargate,
going to
they're
be
calling
needed
it.
for the AI that's going to run everything over the next decade is it's hard to even guess what things are going to be.
Have you heard of Cerebrus Systems?
Cerebrus?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not
I
pronouncing it
have.
right.
I don't know. Yeah.
They have a new chip called the wafer scale engine. I just heard about. They haven't had their IPO yet, but
Yeah, Project Stargate. That was it.
it's a different kind of chip that's specific for AI. That is apparently hot shit. It's going to work in conjunction with GPUs to prevent some bottleneck. I don't know.
The other thing too is
I don't know how to talk about it.
We're not even the chips aren't even optimized for AI yet, right? I mean, so who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I would take a look at Cerebrus Systems. They haven't had their initial public offering yet, but I think they're going to be hot shit.
Yeah, Stargate, I think they were talking about building $1 trillion worth of data center infrastructure here in the U.S. in the next 5 years.
Wow. I love that they call it Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Cerberus.
Cerberus.
Cerberus the dogs that guards the underworld,
I think it has something to do with the Charles Xavier's computer.
How many bodybuilders does it take
Cerebro.
to pronounce this
Yeah,
word?
yeah.
That says Cabela's.
Does that say Seristem system?
That's exactly what it says. All right, one more. Quick one.
All right, let's see. Last one. Yeah, that's a good one. Colton Krieg. What's everyone's big plans for looking good at the Arnold, tightening up, filling out, etc.?
Test.
Well, I'm doing my best to lose weight and get fat at the same time. That's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
My training's been terrible. My eating's been terrible. Not eating less than I ever had in my life.
I can't train hard right now with my fucked up shoulder, and then so it's like, what's the point in taking a bunch of gear?
Same. I can't train. My lack of desires. My lack of interest in being out of breath.
Don't disappear for 7 years again, okay? We can't have more of that.
Regroup.
I just spun it up 2 weeks ago. I'm running. Well, I backed it off after Steve shamed me on the last time we talked. But I'm doing. I'm doing 600 tests and 300 or 400 primo right now. Is what I'm running.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I won't be there unfortunately. So I know. Just look for Chase. Give him a hug for me if you want to touch your muscle.
If you want to see it coming out of the booth, 1949 or 1944. Sorry, that'll be Troponin supplements. We got Bumblebee, Transformer, working the booth Friday and Saturday. So
cool.
For real, yeah.
That's funny.
That was the only like gold colored weird thing. We almost hired a midget clown, but I thought maybe I don't know if that would have enough visual impact because it's short. So we got like an 8-foot Transformer that'll be working the booth.
But you can use the midget clown as like where you put the samples. So you just put like some sort of hat, get the protein samples. You say, why is this chair moving? It's a little.
I am a veteran of many IT trade shows, and the trick at the IT trade shows is booth babes. You hire the girls in the bikinis to hand out
car
cards.
shows too, man. Yeah, booth babes are the
Damn.
best.
What was I thinking? I just got Paul and Colin. I went the complete opposite direction.
Amy,
Amy.
Do I not count, Chase? Like, I mean, I get him in my off season. I'm pretty fluffy, but
You just stepped in it, Chase.
Yeah, but get her a Wonder Woman outfit. You know, she's super tall. She could pass for Amazonian goddess. So
I
put her
have
in the Wonder Woman outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a start. I don't think you can be underoos the whole day.
We'll have Amy at the booth as Wonder Woman, and she's going to put the lasso of truth on people and ask them if they're natty or not. That's what we're going to have.
Yes.
Everybody will be.
Everybody's natty. It's the craziest thing.
If someone's bigger than you, they're on gear.
That's right. That's the rule. That's right. Bigger than you, they're on gear.
I was laughing. One of my clients, Kenny KO, caught him at the Fit Expo. Chase posted it, and he said he was taking You said he was taking 2 grams. What was it? 2 grams of tren.
Grams of
like,
tren.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's like, I talked about this with my coach. I'm like, no, you didn't, man.
That
Didn't
is
talk about that.
funny.
Oh man, I did one collab with Kenny KO, and then everybody said I looked 60.
Oh,
It got like over 3 million views or something. This guy's not 40, he looks 60. Fuck man, it's that bad.
Anti-aging? No, I'm on aging.
People are stupid.
My new aging clinic. We only
You'll still get updates every day. This guy's not 40, he's 60 years old.
They say I look a different age every single time they see me. I'm like, oh, you look so
they
young.
say I
Oh, you
look
look like you're
Seth
dying.
Rogen
What is
every
that?
time. So
They say no. My age changes regardless. Like my face stays the same. That they think my age changes based on how much gear I'm running. If I say I'm on 5 grams of gear, they're like, oh, you look 60. What are you talking about?
I was laughing my ass off on my contest prep. There was some dumbass in my comment section. It's like, bro, you look like you're in your 40s. And I'm like, cool, I'm 50. He's like, you know what I mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're an idiot. That's what it is.
you know what I mean. I'm just trying to say something shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Have a bad day.
All right, guys, I got to wrap this up. Thank you, folks, for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. We will